Uche Secondo is coming in after hearing some Wike's statements yesterday in a church in Port Harcourt. Uche Secondo is saying that if the president has acted in a manner that gives his party the upper hand, it is unconstitutional. He called the agreement an enforceable agreement. So see, these are the words that are sticking out for me. We're going to come to the small matter of the former governor also putting out a disclaimer saying, I did not call for an intervention. You people did. You Rivers people called for intervention. I mean, we know a lot of people called for an intervention. Edwin K. Clark, the Pandev frontman, called for an intervention. We had the likes of INC call for an intervention. We had the Lead Elders Forum in the state call for an intervention. I mean, there were calls for interventions from different quarters. Now,
but there's a difference between intervention and interference, which he also used.
Yes, the former governor talked about an interference. But is this an interference per se? This is. Let's look at the history of Mr. President's intervention.
Okay, maybe we'll leave that to Zoe to.
Right, but like I said, there are a few words that stick out to me. One, enforceable agreement. Two, undue advantage to Mr. President's party. So, when you look at the agreement that was signed by different colors of pen, by on the side, would you say that it gives Mr. President's party an undue advantage in the scheme of things? And does it also portray in any way that Mr. President appears to be a political godfather of one of the two key parties in this impasse?
Okay, thank you for that question. Well, let's make it very clear. What's transpired as far as this Rivers State crisis is concerned, and as far as the presidential meeting is concerned, is an interference, not an intervention. Is an interference with an intention to ambush the governor. Is an interference with an intention to ambush the governor and impose certain conditions on him for the advantage of the president and his party. Okay, against the interests of the governor and the people of Rivers State. That is just the fact. But let's bring it down to Wike. Now, the question to ask, with the statement Wike has made, the question to ask here is, where is Mr. Wike's integrity? Where is Mr. Wike's character? Where is his knowledge of the law as a life bencher? How can you come out to make such an insensitive statement? Where is his interest for the Rivers people? Look at former Governor Wike, who Rivers people stood with in 2019 when the federal might came against him. Okay, in his re-election, Rivers people stood with him. I remember particularly in my local government, Krika local government, our women went naked in order to protect the votes of Governor Wike. The same Governor Wike today is warning Rivers people. Mind you, these are still the people he's claiming as his structure. Governor Wike has always been a man of, it's not sincere for him to say that he did not ask the governor to intervene. The president to intervene. That is not true. Look at the facts. Governor Wike has lost the battle as of the last fight because he saw that the House members who defected, the 27 House members who defected, little did he know that it will come up this way. People will come up and bring out the constitution. And then they were held tight with section 109, subsection 1. And then asking his commissioners to resign. He thought he could use all this to intimidate the governor to do his bidding. Unfortunately, Rivers people rose and stood with the governor, and lawyers, the likes of Femi Falana, the likes of Okocha. You know, I said that we said that in this studio even before these prominent people intervened. And then
you said Okocha.
Yes, all these people came up.
Which of the Okocha now?
Yes, OCJ Okocha.
He did what?
All these people came out to interpret the law. Yes, they interpret the law that as far as the section.
You mean the same OCJ Okocha we saw dancing in the video over yesterday on your mandate we shall stand?
That is interesting, but let's take it generally. Okay. Lawyers came up, prominent Nigerians came up and interpreted the law. So they found themselves, Wike and his cohort found themselves in a tight corner.
Right,
and he has to run back to the president to tell his godfather to intervene. So as far as this issue is concerned,
hold on.
Yes, Tinubu has acted as a godfather.
So Tinubu is now Wike's godfather.
And is protecting him to get Rivers State. Mind you, Governor Wike, when he was governor, said that Rivers State is PDP and PDP is Rivers State.
All right,
he's taking PDP to APC. What is his interest? His interest, the interest of Rivers people. That's the question for Wike to answer.
Let's go back to that church service yesterday because a lot played out. And part of the things that played out is when he said, they say, I want to destroy Rivers State, basically. And he said, no. When I was the governor, I was in the only opposition. The only person who fought the president. I never went to see the president. I'll come back to that statement.
Yes.
And then he said how he fought to get the oil wells. And that shows that he is a person of character because he says what he's going to do. But I find that quite curious. And I'll tell you why straight up. He said he didn't go to see the president. Is that correct? Because we know he visited, especially towards the end of last year, after he lost the presidential primary, he visited the president, President Buhari, on more than one occasion. We saw him go in and out with meetings in the presidency.
The president even gave him a national award.
Okay.
You must have a relationship with the president to have such award.
So now the big question here then is, when we have this statement coming directly from him, again he was speaking inside the church. One of his former aides' birthday, which was yesterday. If you put all of this side by side, who is the man, Nyesom Wike, that we are looking at? On one hand, you say that you denied calling for presidential intervention. On the other hand, you said, who knows, do people know how many meetings you've had with President Tinubu on this issue? On one hand, you are accusing President Tinubu of interference. Who is Barrister Chief Nyesom Wike? Who is this man?
I can tell you expressly.
What is it? Okay.
I can tell you expressly. From all that the former governor have done, he's not a man of character. Because he's not consistent in all his action. He's not a man of character. He's not a man of the law. I will tell you. Because if he is a man of character and a man of the law, when the president came out, as we are told now, the president came out with a written resolution. Not a resolution that came from a meeting, from negotiation, from bargaining. Okay? They said, according to the eyewitness, those who were there, they said he came out with a resolution and handed it over to former governor Peter Odile to read out the resolution. And if Wike was there and such a resolution came out, the first thing that should come to Wike's mind is, what is the interest of Rivers people in this resolution? He can also, the president is not a lawyer to the best of my knowledge, but Wike is a lawyer, a life bencher. He can call the president attention to say, Your Excellency, I'm sorry, sir, you don't have constitutional role in this thing. You can only advise us what to do. And from this, your resolution given to our governor, what is the interest of Rivers people? This is what we call character. This is what we call obeying the law. So Mr. Wike so far has acted as a man of non-character, which he has always claimed.